Shalom, welcome to Kabbalah Academy. Today it's time for the letter Samech, cycles, 60. Let's go directly to Likkutei Yirah 9 as it has a lot to say about the Samech. So Likkutei Yirah 9 by Yirah Ha'ari. You can buy one on bookbaby.com or amazon.com. If you cannot afford one, we have a free PDF version on the website. Click on the link, free PDF. So, the Samech. This is the only sefer that really teaches the Lashon HaKodesh. No, not modern day Hebrew, but the real Lashon. So we arrived at the Samech, cycles. Okay, so the fourth of the 12 elemental letters Samech, cycle. In English, this is the letter S. In Hebrew, we see this in the word Samech. The principle is found in the double letter Gimel. Okay? As a result of the air's interaction with the fire, the cycles, which would be the measurement of progression, established itself. So now the principle, the measurement of progression, creates cycles. So here you see the Samech, right? The Gimel and the fire, the air, progress. So examples of this can be clearly seen in words like seasons, cycles. In existence, we find this principle manifesting in the various alterations of progression. This was the secret of the Ouroboros, the serpent which ate its own tail. Okay. So now, in the album cipher, this is the Sephira of Das, right? So Samech stands at the back of Das, and Dalet being its front. Together they form Soid, right? Secret. And Das is the sun, the meeting point of Chokhmah, yes, wisdom and understanding, Chokhmah and Bina, right? So Samech wraps around it like a fence, concealing it in layers. Because what is revealed as knowledge at the front is enclosed by mysteries at the back, for true Das is never given freely, right? It's not for the profane, each to its level. It's protected within Samech, the circle of the secret. Okay, so Samech is the shape of tzimtzum, right? Circular itself, the perfect balance of contraction and support, the circle through which creation stands. So as cycles we know are 6 times 60, right? 360 degrees, being a full circle. It values Satan in Kollel. Satan is 359. Yes, as a tzimtzum was to create a place for evil to exist. And I want to read with you all a piece of the Zohar, prologue 6, verse 28. That's book 1, Bereshit A. So first I'll read just the translation here, Kabbalah Center version. The letter Samech entered, stood before him, and said, Master of the universe, may it please you to create the world with me, because I am able to support those who fall. Okay, Samech means support also. As it is written, the Lord upholds, this is the meaning of Samech, all that fall. Tehillim 145:14. He said to it, this is exactly why you should stay in your place and not move from it. If you leave your place in the world, Samech, what will then happen to all those who fell and are being supported by you? The letter Samech then left immediately. This is a problematic translation because what it does not tell you is that it says actually immediately she withdrew from before him. She withdrew from before him. Meyat nafkat mikami. So this is hints at the tzimtzum. She withdrew from before him because Samech withdrew from before the Holy One, forming the circle of tzimtzum, the fence that conceals the Yud, that the light might not consume creation but sustain it. Okay, this is what it's hinting at. But when you read the letter Samech, then left immediately, it's not clear. This is why the Aramaic is so important to scan, guys. You do not need to be a fluent speaker, but you need to look into it really. Scan it, apply the crown jewel. That's why it's so important to learn this Lashon HaKodesh and apply gematria to it. We see a lot of language also. There's a lot of me and there's a lot of other hints, but we have too much to cover here today, so I won't go into it. So off to the drawing table. But before that, I wanted to go to gate 6. Also, Likkutei Yirah 9. The restriction. Thus the endless restricted itself precisely in the center. It restricted its own presence, that there would be a vacancy in which the worlds, both upper and lower, could be brought forth. Thus the endless would both be a part of and separated from existence. This restriction was from all directions, creating depth and density. From this we can understand that on the largest and smallest scale everything is circular. So the letters poured in. We will come back to this later. Hold on to this side. So quick overview on the outcomes here, and then later I'll expound. Here we have the Samech, value 60 gematria, 15 in the ordinal, which is Yud Hey, 16, which is the small gematria, 6, and we have the first Milui, which is 600, 120. Well, to not go through all it twice, I will just tell you the next, that we find all these variants of 6, because you can, it's in the table of 6. It's 480, 60, 120, 600, 300. There's a lot of 6s, okay? There's a lot of 6s. So there's no such thing as coincidence. All these variants of Samech, right? And every expansion returns to the same motion, the circle turning, right? The enclosure holding, the light revolving around the center, so to say, that center point, right? That Yud that we just spoke of. So let's go through it, because 6, of course, is also Zerampin. We just spoke about the Ouroboros, right? Which are the forms? The forms, if we do not work, if we do not study Torah, Zohar, if we do not, it keeps us in a vicious cycle of exile, and through various Gilgulim, right? But through Shin, fire, which we are directed, right? We are corrected to learn. If we do not progress, right? That's a dangerous thing. But if we make stupid mistakes, sometimes might even be better, because you get you're toegeslept, so to say, by the fire. So now you can learn. It's a progress, right? So you will see a lot of fire coming along this study also. So Samech in Safed, right? This study of Torah is also, by the way, 6, because the 6 denotes Tiferes, and the study of Torah goes through the Tiferes in various levels, that is, right? So creating a bridge into the next level of awareness, strengthening your vessel for the capacity of carrying a greater light, so to say, like I said, each to his own level. And Samech in Safed, right? Samech in Safed, reckoning totals 600. So Safed is where the kaf is a 500, right? So the 600 is 2 shins. So you could say 2 fires. We have strange fire, cleansing, purifying, right? Judgment, din. And we have life, because life, light, heat, shin, gives also life. It's two shins, right? Enclosed in its ring. So the Zohar shows fire in holy and severe use, white, black, merciful, harsh. Likewise, Samech is the circle that supports, the makif that holds the black fire of din till it's sweetened into white fire, you could say. So the light serves life, but fire can kill, but gives life just the same. So that's exactly the tzimtzum image we draw at the center and the rings around it in which the colors of creation appear, which you just saw in Likkutei Yirah 9. You saw the circles with the colors and you saw the circles black and white, right? So we see also life is hinted at in Atbash, because Samech Mem in Atbash is Chai. Samech Mem Kaf is Chai Lamed, which is Lechai, the living one, right? It is also the authority fencing the youth, conceal and protect, so to say. So we also found, this was very interesting here. Well, okay, so I'll just check here, because we have here also the ordinal 39, which is tal, which is dew, right? Hold on to the thought. You'll see why that's fitting the whole narrative here. But we had in the second Milui, 2020. Now this may be a little bit difficult to explain, but the Yud, Hey, Vav, and Hey will become Yud, Hey, Yud, and Hey in the future. The Zohar teaches us. Now I see the zeros to be circular, right? And that circular, that point, right? You could see them as the primordial points, right? But the higher Yud, lower Yud, 2 is base. Base is Bina, Beria, equal to the Hey. Because the first Hey is the Ima Ila'a, right? Lower Hey is the Ima Tata, right? The daughter who wears the mother's garments. So both circles come from the primordial point, the Yud, the seed of all emanation that created life, right? That creates life. Therefore we find in various places of Samech values such as, where is it? 3900, right? In the Sophites, which is 10 times Shemen, it's 100 times Tal, which is semen and dew. We had another here. In the squaring of Samech, we have 390, which is semen. So there's clear signs of life, dew, semen, right? Now in the third Milui of the Samech, which is here, I did a little smaller to not fill up the whole space. We get a 645, 195 and a 69, Katan, Ordinal and Gematria, making a total of 909, which is 207 and 702, mirror images, or light and Shabbat. If you divide it by 2, you get 455, okay? Which is on the 7th day, B'yom HaShavi'i, which is the Shabbat. We just had Shabbat and Or. Okay, so how shall I explain this? So light and Shabbat mirror numbers, we see that clearly. So the glow and its reflection, and 7 times 7 is the high Shabbat, which is 49. The full count of cycles, from there comes the 50th, right? The gate of Bina, the circle beyond measure. So this is also why we find that Samael and Elohim Bina share the same ordinal of 41, which is found here. The 82 is 2 times 41, and 28 is 2 hands. So totaling 280, Sandalphon, totaling 390. Strange contradictions, one might think, but now with this explanation of the tzimtzum, that it was to create a place where evil could exist, that changes everything, right? So this is really the secret of Samech, the Shabbat of the Aleph-Bet, the ring that holds the light, where the cycle of 49 finds rest in the 50th gate. So I want to go to a Zoharic text with you. We will read the parable of the harlot and the king's son in Truma, Zohar book 11, Truma 66, a couple of verses there. So it starts in 673. He answers, certainly he is doing the will of his master. It is like a king who had an only son, and he loved him exceedingly. And he commanded him with love not to come close to an evil woman, because anyone who approaches her is not worthy to enter the king's palace. The son promised that he would lovingly do the will of his father. So outside of the king's palace was a harlot who was very beautiful to behold. After a few days the king said, I want to see the wishes of my son toward me. He called that harlot and told her, go and entice my son in order to test the wishes of my son toward me. What did that harlot do? She went after the king's son and started to embrace him and kiss him and entice him with all kinds of enticements. If that son is proper and observes the commands of his father, he scolds her and does not listen to her and thrusts her away from him. Then the father rejoices with his son, brings him into the inner sanctum of his palace and gives him presents and gifts and great honor. Who caused all this honor for that son? We must say that it was the harlot. So he questions, does that harlot deserve praise for this or not? He says, certainly she deserves praise from all aspects. For she did the king's command, and she brought that son all the good, all this love of the king toward him. Therefore it is written, and behold, it was very good. And behold, it was good refers to the angel of life, while very refers to the angel of death, the evil inclination, who is certainly very good. For he who fulfills the commandment of his master, come and see, if there would not be this enticer, then the righteous would not inherit those supernal treasures that are their share in the world to come. So, that should give great clarity, as the harlot is the Samech Mem Sitra Achra, the prince is the soul of Yisrael, Yisrael, and the king is the Holy One, blessed be he. So we see some interesting things in the Kuzu and Atbash I want to look at. So we already saw Samech cycles, Zayin weapon is Chet fence. This is in Kuzu and this is in Atbash, okay? So I showed you the fence, life, right? Authority, fence, youth, primordial point, and here you could say it's a weapon, serpent, carrying, serpent, weapon. The Sofit value here is 539, which is Be'atzilut, housed in Atzil, for certainly. We're speaking about holiness, right? Especially in the higher realms, we are looking at holiness, so should be careful about what we say. So this we already treated, that we treated. So it is the wall that guards holiness, right? To conclude it, concealing and protecting the youth, the point of pure light within. So Chet in its holy sense is the living fence around the name. So boundary that keeps the profane from touching the inner spark. Every world, every level, that's why I'll also see here the Atzil, Beria, Yetzira, and Asiya, right? So each world, each level held within its proper boundaries so that the light of life can dwell safely inside. So the mystery of Samech is really the circle of tzimtzum, the fence of holiness that hold both fires, as we saw here. So where the hidden seed of Shemen gathers as tel and becomes Chai, life, revealed. And in the 2020, the Milui of the Milui, you also see the 22, right? Which is the Aleph-Bet. Okay, 22 letters. And I want to take you to a text in Sefer Emek Hamelech, translated by our beloved brother Shaul Molcho, who translated a great amount of important Kabbalistical works by various sages into English, which are now for the first time ever available to the non-Hebrew speakers. So let us take a look, because finishing this book myself, recently I came to the finding that in the back of the book it expounds upon the letters also. So today will be the first. We'll take a portion of the Samech to see what it says here. So the letter Samech, its point is greater than the others, and it is great in the point of the closed mem of the sea. And after the tzimtzum placed the point, the force of the tzimtzum of Ein Sof returned and struck in the center of the point, and from that striking emerged 18 points, equal to the value of the 3 vavs, which are in the form of the Samech. 18 is Chai, remember? We find all these signs. And these points joined together and form the shape of a Samech. And note that the form of Samech is in the form of a mem, for in the Milui of Samech there is mem, yud, mem, which are its full spelling. And this equals the value of Samech. It is found that the Samech was originally a mem, and both of them total 100, which is also fullness. You could also say it is Shanun, right? 50th gate on 2 sides, higher and lower, revelation thereof, so to say. So Emek Hamelech reveals here that Samech began as the closed mem of the sea. So when the light of Ein Sof returned, right, and struck the center, 18 sparks were born, which is life within contraction, forming the circle of support. So that's a secret we saw in the 2020 value, right, here. 2 circles and 2 twos, which is the 22, the Aleph-Bet, right? But also the upper and the lower hay, because 2 is a base, Bina. The 2 mothers, each enclosing the hidden Yud, right? Hidden within the circles. Yud Hey. So the same hidden current Moshe Rabbeinu drew from the waters, rising through the 2 hays to the 100-fold wisdom, so to say. So the complete circle of understanding. So I hope this was helpful, and see you in the next video. As my teacher says, Shalom Salah, many blessings.